Yeah. So good morning, all of you. Thank you for joining. Uh, the this time we selected the topic, the environmental monitoring expectation and challenges into the BFS machine. Uh, from this audience, I'm not sure how many persons who have direct experience working in BFS technology, and that too in a current scenario. So I thought, and I proposed this topic just to discuss uh, like what are the practices across the industry and the best practices across the industry. We are experiencing the EM monitoring practices. So just would like to understand, because when we look at the EU Annexure 1 requirements, so there are some liberties given with respect to viable and non-viable particle monitoring, because we know that this is a compact operation, and the design of the machine, the space restriction of the space, and the complex airflow, all these challenges leads to the heat process, and that's why this liberty has been given. Like in operation, may not be possible for some of the machines to have a continuous monitoring for viable or non-viable particles. But as per my understanding, there are I mean the technology has been improved with respect to customizing the arrangement for the EM monitoring for viable and non-viable in some of the machines. Old machines, typically, which are the shuttle kind of machines, wherein these challenges, personally I have experience, so we had no options for continuous monitoring for air sampling. So so anyone feel free to share their experience for what are the practices you guys are experiencing for monitoring for viable and non-viable particle monitoring into the filling, I would say critical zone of the BFS machine. So anyone come and share their experience. Especially, it will be better if someone can specify the machine make, which machine make they are using, and if there are any challenges they had or they overcome by customizing, or in fact the machine itself has the design to have a continuous monitoring. So this is the discussion I propose in this panel. So let me see. First of all, I would like to understand, is there anyone who is currently working or who has already worked into the BFS technology from the members who have joined? Palash, in case you have.
No, I
uh,
understand the system, but I never being a part of the BFS technology.
BFS.
But maybe we could discuss like what is the problem. We understand the
Yeah,
monitoring is really required and critical for that. But what is the problem and how we can overcome this issue? And I don't know
yeah, yeah,
how regulatory look at to the process.
yeah,
Whenever
yeah,
whenever you say something is problem, it may not be the problem for the regulator because that is necessary as a part of guidance, and they are looking into that process. And sometimes it's tricky if your machine or if your system does not really fulfill that requirement. So maybe you could
correct.
speak onto that space
Okay,
based on your
okay,
experience.
okay.
Yeah.
So expectation, if you look at the even annexure one, what they mentioned, the filling environment, which is a critical zone, I would say grade A, should be designed and maintained to meet grade A condition for viable and total particle limits for both at rest and when in operation. So expectation is already given, like they should meet. However, further what they mention, like like let me see what they mention further. Yeah, due to generation of particles from the polymer, because we are using the granules, and that exclusion, because of the particle generation, because of extrusion process and cutting process, the respective size of the critical zone. So in operation monitoring of total particle of BFS equipment is not expected. Okay, this is also given further. However, earlier it was mentioned, as a part of qualification, it might be interpretation like that as a part of qualification. we should have demonstrate or prove that that zone is meeting grade A condition in operation. And but in routine they are giving this liberty, like this cannot be, is not expected. And but again they said, however, data should be available to demonstrate that the design of the equipment ensure that the critical zone of the filling process would meet grade A condition in operation. So that's why I thought to understand from somebody, like when they talk about the data should be available. So is that a just qualification data they are talking about, or any specific trials or some data of some specific time we need to have?
Uh,
So this was, yeah.
Maybe Rudra is there in the call. Rudra, you look different system in different companies. Do you have any experience on the blow-fill seal technology? Because here today we are discussing the challenges with the technology for monitoring. Do you have any specific comment on that? Because I know you visit couple of vendors, like couple of um, manufacturers in terms of your regular activity.
Yeah, mostly what I visit all the companies grade A by B,
Hmm.
so under lab only.
And did they use blow-fill seal technology? Any of the
No, no, no.
okay.
I was working as part of global technology.
Mm-hmm.
When, I will take the statements what you read just couple of minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
What they said, typically you should maintain grade A, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
establish a particular limit. You should have the data. First, whatever the three batches you are going to monitor, collect the data and establish the tentative limits. We will get the very concrete result. After so 10 batches or 30 batches are it's up to you as per the manufacturer. Then you should define. That's it. Otherwise, if your equipment manufacturing vendor, if they are giving promise and they would like to design a equipment in such a way to that to maintain ISO grade A, then no issue.
Okay, so I understand this point, like because of this challenge has already raised by the users in the past. That's why the new machines, which have this kind of provision, they are providing the provision for the monitoring. This may be the only problem for the old machines, wherein the
Another answering also. If your primary packing material could able to generate the particles, why don't you go for an alternative vendor who is providing the materials which may not generate the particles beyond our specification limit. There is a possibility. Nowadays, we are seeing in couple of companies that so they
okay,
are keep on using the vendor to avoid all these technical issues. And in terms of meeting the regulatory requirement, they are changing vendors and they are giving very stringent specification to the primary packing material vendors.
okay, yeah, this may be the one of the I mean solution. So that may be again depend on vendor, what quality of the polymers or resins they are providing. But yeah,
Yeah.
accepted. Yeah.
No, have you tried in such a way?
What a problem I saw, it was not right. This was not right because process itself generates. So I don't know, like what I mean. What do you mean exactly? How it will really help not generate the particles? Uh, because I know that we have the imported vendor only,
Mm.
maybe from Germany or some European country manufacturer. It's not a local. So it was already qualified for other aspects. So, but this was not look into like whether this can be improved by changing the alternative vendor or something.
If you speak with your vendor, he may
Uh,
give you some lead reply, right?
yeah,
I can't say it is 100%, but there is a
can be tried.
possibility to give a reporting report.
Okay, okay,
And do you know the expectation of the blow-fill seal technology? The products are really heat sensitive. It could go through the terminal sterilization process as well. I think in that way we could maybe reduce bit of
Only
but Palash, there are
requirement there.
both the things. Like I agree, with, but there are both the ways, like aseptic also failed and TS also. TS, I understand this may be eliminated through again risk assessment and requirement, like because the product is already TS. TS, what we show is the air shower technology like thermal, but
Mm.
aseptic also failed, especially when you look at the ophthalmic nozzles.
That may
There is use. So you need to
When we
maintain a grade.
so if you look at the US country or some other countries, most of the ophthalmic eye drops,
Hmm.
manufactured through the BFS technology.
Right. I mean that considered as the most safest technology for the
most
aseptic actually. Yeah.
appreciable process by the
Process. Yeah.
regulator to use terminal sterilization in place of
Yes.
aseptic, because regulator always pressing if is there any possibility to do the terminal sterilization. When I'm talking about
Hmm.
possibility, not about the machine, about the process. If your product support terminal sterilization process, do it fast, because that is the fast preference of the regulatory. If you're doing aseptic, there's supposed to be some justification why you're doing an aseptic, because maybe your API does not really support your terminal installation process. You cannot able to heat the
Correct.
product. It may be generate some kind of degradant, so you should handle through the aseptic. If that is yes, then okay. If that is no, you should migrate to the terminal installation process.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So TS is preferable
But
flow
anyhow,
pathway.
I see there is a statement mentioned in EU Annex 1, due to the generation of the particle from the polymer extrusion,
Hmm.
cutting during the operations, and the restrictive size of critical filling zone of the VFS equipment in operation
Correct.
monitoring of total particle of VFS filling equipment is not expected. So they are leveraging it. So it's maybe possible we could do the particle analysis before we start the machine, and we claim the area or the process maintain the requirement as per the guidance. Then even we understand there is some issue in our normal filling process as well, in the capping station. When capping station vibrate, you should
Correct.
not do your sampling, because it may generate some noise, and which could be the false alarm. So that
Correct.
is something is acceptable, but still your
Yeah.
process need to be designed in such a way, and your risks
Hmm.
should to be managed. It should not impact your final product. So they mention like,
Correct.
however, the data should to be available to demonstrate the design of the equipment ensures the critical zone of the filling process environment would meet a grade A condition in operation. So uh, you need to challenge your design the way your filling stage and your entire filling line is designed. It should able to meet the expectations. So maybe you could
Correct.
challenge in at-rest condition. You could try to make some connection like your machine, or maybe you could have a dry run without your plasticizers. Okay, so demonstrate your operation condition without using the actual material, because your actual material maybe generate some of the particles. So it may be you could try with some dry run if it is possible. Maybe you could make different kind of scenario to challenge how the operational condition you could establish, how you can claim that is your operational condition versus risk condition.
Mode of cutting, the way of cutting also decides the generation of number of particles. If there is any slight modification in that, by coordinating with the manufacturer and equipment manufacturer vendor, then there is a possibility to reduce the number of particles generating at the cutting process. If you speak with the equipment manufacturer and so equipment manufacturer, you will get the real picture. Are there any advancements? See, equipment manufacturer, he may receive a number of complaints from the customers. We are getting that, we are getting this, and regulatory inspectors are not accepting it, and we could not able to meet our regular procedures and practices. If you speak with them, they will give you real picture. It will help you really to defend your day-to-day operations.
Okay. Yeah, this can be, I mean, check with the OEM of the equipment. So some
Hmm.
solutions will be there. Yeah.
Definitely, you will get it.
Okay. Okay.
If
Um,
required, they will give you additional document also.
Okay. So my
Hmm.
experience with the Romelec only, we were using the Romelec machines.
Okay.
Romelec, if I'm not wrong, is again the German base, I think. I mean, earlier, nowadays, many other makes are also available. But widely industry was using Romelac for LVP, SVP, BFS technology earlier.
And if
So I'm,
possibility, our qualification team to check the equipment manual also. Are there
Mhm.
any instructions or something? If it is helpful to us, then we can extract the same thing and put it in our operational document.
Okay. Yes,
Hmm.
yes. That can be checked as well. And I don't know about the air sampling, microbial air sampling. How do they do? Because in case of BFS zone, I mean filling zone, it's not like while you can open the door at any point of time. So generally, I have seen it's one it's closed, you can't. I mean, you have to not open. There is no glow pod and everything is given itself because of direct issue of this filling grade A contamination. But then for specific duration like 6 hour, like you know. Like I saw like in other not India but other sites what I saw like sometime as a part of EM program they want to cover the air sample of entire process. It's not like once in ship means active air. I'm talking about active air sample. Like we with I mean specific for 10 minutes whatever the time we qualified. What we do like in other scenario like we do air sampling like for specific time and then that air sample gets stopped and sampling done completed. But the in especially for all Southeast Asian countries like Korea, South and China and all they have a different kind of air sampling mechanism. So maybe pulsation has been fixed like 200 liter in first hour, then 200, then again stop. Then again they will take again 200 in another second hour. So they cover 5 hours for the active air sampling. And according to them, like this is the worst scenario where you can consider the entire cycle time. I mean process cycle time. So active air sampling can be done. So I don't know whether this system is acceptable. I have not seen in India so far. So
In
any
India also so many companies are following same process what you are telling.
Yeah,
I'm having
part
some experience. They are also
non-micro
doing same way. Partial sampling 200, 200, 200, 3, 4 times for the covering entire cycle.
okay.
Hmm.
So I don't know about the impact on the media for I mean maybe 5 or again they're all subject to the validations. I know like exposure time and all that, and maybe qualification of air sampler itself like to challenge whether only 200 air liter is being served or not. So because I just wanted to check with others like if anyone have seen this kind of practice in Indian companies. So
Actually, generally, previously they were taking single time air sampling. So
uh,
what they had decided, they will split this into 3 time, 4 time, 200, 200, something like that, and they
mhm.
can cover most of the time of the cycle. And rest other sampling is they are collecting from the settle plate. So to conclude, include both the test in the same manner. Since they have split it. I have seen some companies they are using this methodology.
Okay.
Even for US also, US organization they are supplying.
So
Okay.
anyhow,
Okay.
as your system is quite closed and there is no operator interventions, it's potentially
Mhm.
reduce the risks of getting contamination during the process. So your risk matrix can be right in a different way, and you could evaluate what is the duration of your actual process, including the filling. Then you could split the activity in active air sampler and your passive air like settle plate. And active air sampler, if you wanted to have a like pulse based sampling, you maybe uh, use a couple of sampler, not to extend one sampler for 4 and 5 hours, because I don't know how it will be compared to your active sample and passive sample. If both the
Mm,
sampler are stay for 4 and 5 years. Normally, the concept of active sampler to sample in a real time and get some data,
exactly.
and not over a time of 4 hours. So maybe you could use like couple of more active sampler. Those are automated, and those could sample the air, and they can stop their system and not take the further samples. So maybe that is possible, but again, considering like what is the length of your process and how much risks you see in terms of microbial contaminations, and you can claim your process is really a um, man intervention free, like operator intervention free, it's fully automatic, and that's how you could maybe minimize your process, and you could challenge the process in your design phase or the validation phase, how it controls. So it's really less microbial control. There is no contamination. There is no growth observed, and that's how you could validate your process quite robust, and that's how you follow your commercial. Like you need to build a bit of story actually to support your process.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
As if you read the UNX01, like they also understand this process is quite critical and may not able to fulfill all the requirement stated in the guidance, but you need to demonstrate your process finally. Maybe a good risk matrix will help this process to support.
When you have qualified your equipment, what was the limits you have achieved?
You mean to for what?
For the same process, when you have qualified, so
Uh-huh.
is it to be qualified or already it's under running?
No, what I saw is already in running.
Okay.
Yeah.
They must qualify as per the expectation of aseptic.
Yeah.
There is no separate EM expectation. It's the same expectation in the aseptic processing. They should follow the same.
Regular operation.
Actually, plate, they are not changing plate. Plate will be remain same. Timing they are changing. Like 200 liter, they said, then after 30 minutes, 200 liter, then after 30 minutes, 200 liter. In this manner, they are doing.
But
But
Yeah,
they
I
are
mean,
not disturbing the
air
sampling plate.
air sampler had that provision, like pulsation time can be
Yeah,
fixed,
yeah.
that they qualified. And I was just thinking whether if the extra samples is being taken like more than 1,000 liters, so this may be the possible. I know it's all depend on accuracy and precision of air sampler, but it may be lead to extra samples also may get sampled, which I don't know whether this is acceptable or not. But first of all, I wanted to understand whether this practice is very uncommon for me when it comes to the Indian industry, but it's common for China, Korea, Taiwan, like they are doing. And they said, yeah, it's well accepted. And I mean, I don't know the background. I don't know whether I mean, somebody asked them because of regulatory citation or something, but their point was like they are covering entire process. Though this is worst, but logically, settle plate is for that reason, which is more
yes.
accurate. Yeah, but I don't know. Like that's why India, and even I have not seen the in specific observation or expectations when it's come to the 483 for Indian companies. So this is maybe a practice matter.
And do you know this process length?
This is
How
the
long this
practice
process
currently in
is?
my organization also, and even
Okay,
FDA reviewed now, and they have not observed
objection.
anything
Okay,
concern regarding
The
this now.
major
So for
issue is
that, we
like
are expecting this is same.
I think the major advantage is like it's a almost operator free process. The machine itself complete everything, profile, seal, and everything.
yeah. Okay. I thought somebody who has already worked in the CCS for the BFS machine, we will get more insights from our group. But anyway, like, uh,
But in future, we'll try to bring some of the machine manufacturer in this kind of meeting so they could provide their expertise.
yeah, that will be really
Because
benefit.
our group is getting bigger and there is interest of the different supplier, they would like to discuss with us because we are all the experts and SMEs available across the industry, and maybe they will get some advertisement through our group and they will share their technological advancement as well. So Well,
Right, right.
even I will request you guys also can reach out and you can tell like we have a group running with like around 500 people, and we'd like to understand from your perspective, do you interest? If they say yes, we could try to form some of the discussion session. And I'm also doing the same as well.
Okay.
Now you people have the empowerment, right? You understand. You have a group who
Yes.
having more than 400, 450 people. We can do anything. We can get the sponsorship as well. So try to get work hard to get some of this vendor agreement so they can present their technology. I already discussed with some of the one, and next week there is a planning of the discussions. So let's see how it's uh, uh, is this the first one, but we should try this kind of activities. Whether that is a scan, Groninger, any kind of Bosch installable or any kind of supplier, we could send them an email to share the
Okay.
technological.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Like we can do it, Palash. Good idea. Like we will explore it. Okay. I Yeah. Someone was asking.
No, I think this is someone kid.
No. BFS, one more challenge what I saw, like the molds because of forming, sealing, everything happen at one place. And for mold, you need a cooling as well. And some technologies were using a chilled water formation. Okay, and because of some, even I saw this case study. I don't remember in one of the CCS document, probably by PDA or something. Like this example they given, like if there is a any kind of, because of wear and tear, any small kind of leakage is there, it will directly contaminate your product. So I don't know whether there is other. I heard like apart from chilled water, there is another technology which industry is using for this, fully cooling for the molds uh, formation. So I'm not aware like which technology they are using.
ఇక్కడ నుంచి ప్రాజెక్ట్ కి సంబంధించి ఎవరి మైండ్ లో ఏమనుకుంటున్నారో అందరికీ తెలియాలి.
Sorry, can you mute yourself?
Okay, now someone was telling on other technology, I guess. Rudra, you.
Okay, I will stop sharing the screen so I could unmute some of one. Yeah, it's not. You are telling something on the cooling system, right?
Yeah, I was talking about the cooling system. Chilled water circulation was being used earlier. I mean, and because of some issues, potential issues identified about because of wear and tear of any maintenance issue of the mold. So there's any kind of leakage which directly lead to the product contamination. So I heard there is other alternate system industries using for this. Uh, I mean, instead of chilled water circulation. And I also heard like what Rudra told, like particle generation many time happen during cutting also. So there also I heard cold some other technology which I have not seen, like not using this heat generation process. They are using something alternate process. So again, because heat generation again itself a problem and does not allow you for this EM and all that. So I mean, little bit what happened. So I have seen only one kind of technology in VFS, not so many companies. That's why I'm not too much confident like what other
But
people are.
do you know some of this CPHN and this kind of expo? Some of the machine manufacturer from the BFS also are coming. Maybe you could able to discuss with them because I
Yeah,
guess that could be the nice idea. And we have something on
yeah,
this on November
yeah.
as well in Delhi.
Okay, Delhi. Yeah.
Yes.
You're right. I only know the Romelec, which was very popular. Oh yeah, equipment manufacturer for this
Because
VFS.
I feel this kind of expos are quite interesting because people are coming with the latest technology and you could able to discuss like what we need and what is available in the industry. It's quite influencing and quite interesting as well. So
Yeah.
this could help. I see we are in last 7 minutes. If you have something or we could take some of the question, I will stop recording meanwhile